Shalom, shalom, Akim. Welcome to GMS Gals on the Streets. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, whom I worship. Double honor to my elder apostles of Great Millstone, who taught me this word in sincerity and in truth, and who grew well. And salutations to all the Akim out there throughout the world that's pushing this word even unto the end. Salutations to you all. Keep pushing on. I'm Elder Sakuran, and I was on RT and saw an article that caught my attention and that deals with prophecy. So I'm just gonna pull up the article and read it, and then get some scriptures. Just want to say for you brothers, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the notification bell so that you'll know when I put up videos. All right. So with that, just gonna go ahead and read this article. Okay, so this is the article I just saw on RT, and there was a couple of things happening yesterday dealing with the stock market. The stock market fell, I believe, to almost 800 points, something to that effect, between 600 to 800 points, I believe. And there was a lot of things happening with the the stocks. I didn't really go into it, but I read up a little bit on it. So maybe later on, maybe I could do a lesson dealing with that. But all this is prophecy, dealing with Babylon the Great, and which is America. And we know according to prophecy that America will fall. It's gonna fall. Physically, the Lord's gonna just take America out. But before he physically takes America out by way of the thermonuclear missiles, this place is gonna fall economically. Because America is in great debt. That's that scripture that they have. He has laden himself with thick clay, and like I always bring out, the other Apostle Gabar, he always brought out that when you look up that word in the Hebrew, thick clay, it means ibadyat, which means debt, lots of debt. So a nation is only as strong as its economy. Especially being that America deals with the fractional reserve banking system, which is the fiat money. The greenbacks, they're not backed by gold or silver or any other precious metal. So the only thing that keeps the American dollar or the GDP, which means the gross domestic product, going, is the faith that the American people have in it. All right. All the other nations, man, they are hip to the this debt, the U.S. debt, and they don't want no parts of it. But a lot of these nations deal with the U.S. dollar when it comes to it's known as the petrodollar, and a lot of nations, they don't want nothing to do with it, man. They don't, when they deal with buying oil and things of that nature, and when they do transactions dealing with the sales of oil, they don't want to touch the U.S. dollar. They want to deal with their own currencies, man. All right, with something that has some kind of sustenance to it. All right, so let's read on. Right, it says U.S. must accumulate more and more debt in order to keep economy from collapsing. Do you hear that shit? Now that's that dude. I believe his name is Max Kaiser. Yeah, it says it down there. I had a problem with this dude because like all these news agencies and things like that, they're all bought and paid for, and they're it's all set up. They're told what to say and what not to say and stuff like that. So it was one time where somebody was on Max Kaiser's show, and they posed a question to him dealing with the the international bankers, namely the Rothschild family. And when he was asked that question, he didn't want to go into it, man. He was afraid. He kept you know talking in circles and stuff. He didn't want to answer the question. So showing me that he was a punk ass for doing that. And it showed that he's controlled. But anyway, he does have good points dealing with the economy and the stocks and financial news and stuff like that. So every now and then, I'll watch him. But anyway, so it says U.S. must accumulate more and more debt in order to keep economy from collapsing. RT's Kaiser report. So it says Max Kaiser and Stacey Herbert discussed the fact that the U.S. Federal Reserve is stuck in a Max Kaiser and Stacey Herbert discussed the fact that the U.S. Federal Reserve is stuck in a rate-cutting box of its own making. We have gone through the looking glass when interest rates went negative, Stacey explains. When Alice went through the looking glass, the Red Queen explained to Alice that now, here on the other side of the looking glass, it takes all the running you can do to stay in the same place. The analogy is similar to what is now happening in the U.S. according to Max. There's an ever-increasing quantity of debt required to keep the GDP in the same place. So the Fed must print to keep the economy from collapsing. And now the average American, right, the dumbfounded American, would think in their minds that yeah, why not? Just if you run out of money, make more money. Why not? But they don't understand that by doing that, you're devaluing the currency. You see, they don't understand about how money works. They don't understand how the fractional reserve banking system works. So so they think that it's an easy fix. Yeah, just print more money in it. No, you are devaluing the dollar. Therefore, now it's gonna cost you more money to buy things, and that's how that works. That's how they set it up, which puts you further and further into debt, man. Okay, and that causes interest rates to rise and all these things to happen. As a domino effect. You see, so that's not a good thing. So anyway, but this is the future of America, and like I said, a nation is only as powerful as its riches and their military. Now you need money to keep a standing military going, right? The what they call it, the military industrial complex. That's what they call it. You gotta pay these people. They are in the military, right? So they could eat, so they could have weapons and uniforms, and especially weapons. Okay, so what happens when that money runs out, man? Or there is no more. You see? So anyway, I'm gonna pull up some scriptures now, and dealing with this and dealing with the prophecy. So with that, hold tight. Okay, so this is the scripture right here, Habbakuk, chapter 2, verse 6, right? And it says, "Shall not all these take up a parable against him?" And the all these is talking about all the nations that were at peace with Babylon the Great. This links up also with Isaiah the 14th chapter. All those that were confederate also links up with Obadiah. All those that were confederate with Babylon the Great, they're going to take up a parable against Babylon the Great, And, because at one time, America was, so great and powerful and strong. And now, all these nations witnessed her downfall. So they're all gonna be, talking shit about her, and making fun of her, and talking about, the Edomites over here and how they lost power, and all this. Especially Israel. We're gonna take up that parable against her too, against Esau too. Actually, against Esau, because it says against him, but mainly the Edomites over here in America, right? And it says, "And a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his." Yeah, because America was or belonged to the our brothers, right? The Native American Indians, and the which are the Gadites, and the Seminole Indians, which are the Reubenites. America had belonged to them. Okay. And then Esau came and stole this country, this land from our brothers, man. Okay. And it say, woe to him that increases that which is not his. And so they stole America and increased America, right, as if it was theirs. It says, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Right, the thick clay is the for one, it's talking about, Esau's wickedness, because they stole everything. Okay. And they took power. They took power by way of force and by the way of the sword, which is their blessing. And they acted as if these things that they stole, okay, lands and peoples, was theirs to possess. Okay. Verse 7. It says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee? Talking about the other nations, man. And also dealing with Yasharallah, man, because in the kingdom we're gonna have them in possession. And awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood. And they definitely, Esau done shed our people's blood, right? The saints' blood of the tribes, and took over our resources and our lands, right? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, right? They took this land by violence. And that's why in Revelation, the 18th chapter, it says, and thus by violence, and thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be destroyed. And for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, the house of Esau, that he may set his nest on high. And that they did, right? Their space programs and all that. Though they didn't land on the moon, but they lied and said they did. But they have their international space station up there, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and Esau did that, and has sinned against thy soul. I'm gonna stop there. I'm at work. I did this during break time, so break is over, lunch break is over, and Lord willing, Lord help me, I'll continue this later on. Continue this lesson later on. So with that, just another quick lesson. Hope brothers stay tuned for the next show. Once again, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. All right. And with that, Elder Sakaran, GMS Scouts on the Streets, signing off. Shalom.